And the goal I always set for people, you want to get 1,000 people, which just sounds like a big number, but it's not. 1,000 people at $20 a month. And when you do that, that's 20 grand a month, $240,000 a year. And why do I say that number? Because I feel that number, the majority of people watching that challenge will be able to quit their job and go do whatever they want to do.
This is Biz Ninja Entrepreneur Radio with your host, Tyler Jorgensen.
Welcome out to Biz Ninja Entrepreneur Radio. I am your host, Tyler Jorgensen, and I don't always have repeat guests, but I had to have this guest come back out because he came out, I think it was 2019, and shared what he was doing in e-commerce and what was going on in the world. But the world has changed so much. TikTok didn't exist. We weren't scared about tariffs, right? There were so many things different. The terrible T's are attacking us now. But I want to welcome out an amazing T. Welcome to the show, Trey Lewellen.
The T's. Hey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Man, I love every time I chat with you about e-commerce, I learn a lot. And I used to be really into e-commerce and love sharing it. And, more recently I've been focused in info and agency and media. But you are still just absolutely crushing it and still doing e-commerce. But I want to zoom back, right? How did you stumble into this? When was that first moment you realized you were an entrepreneur?
The first moment I realized I was an entrepreneur was with my first webinar gig, which is actually doing loan officer leads. I was getting leads for loan officers, and then Facebook made an algo change, like a for real one, not the fake ones they do today, but right. This was like a real one where you logged in and all the numbers went to zero. Like they did a full restart, and I think I had 12 clients at that time, and they all called me and left voicemails angry because they weren't getting leads that day, and they were paying me, I don't know, $2 or $3 grand a month at that time.
Yeah,
and that was scary. And so that was like one of those first hurdles of roadblocks, like, oh, I've made it. Oh, just kidding. And I realized that I needed to control a lot more and not have clients paying me every month. And so I went towards, that's kind of where e-com started. But to answer your question, entrepreneur was actually loan leads.
That's fascinating because I ended up in e-commerce after owning a mortgage company. So,
cool.
Random little connection there, but,
and
we were doing leads on Facebook back when there wasn't even a business manager, and you could target by anything you wanted. It was wild. But, the good old days when we thought 12-cent clicks were a lot. So how did you end up in e-commerce?
So e-commerce came later, about 6 months after that kind of story. And my brother was going to become a cop. He's 7 years younger than I am. I was working in insurance still. And I was like, hey, we should be in business together. He asked about what. And I said, I don't know, but I know you like guns, and I know you like, cool stuff. So why don't we just do it around guns? And he said, okay. And so we started a fan page called I Love My Gun. Very original. And it grew. It grew to 300,000 fans or likes or followers, whatever they were called back then. And we started selling T-shirts to that fan page. And we had $100,000 months selling $19 T-shirts.
Wow. And now this is what I always think is interesting. I know a lot of people that their story starts similar. They're like, oh yeah, so I wanted to get into shirts. I wanted to start a fan page, but they never have a $1,000 or a $5,000 a month, right? And you're like, yeah, we were doing 100,000, and this is the beginning of your story, right? This is not like the peak. That's a lot of people's peak. So, what would you say makes how you approach e-commerce and business different than you've talked to a lot of people in this space too. So, what makes you different from them?
I'll tell you and what's funny is that question is the same question every time we get a new CPA asks. Like, how are you guys in business and what do you do? Because I guess we just do it differently than most people. And so how we do it is I test the market first. So I do what's called a market first approach versus a product first approach.
Yeah.
And the market first approach is where we build an audience first. We ask them what they will buy. So in this case, a T-shirt. We'd ask them what phrase they want on a T-shirt. We ask them what design they want on a T-shirt. And we get all that feedback back to us just by using simple Google Forms. And we make the design, and guess what? We turn around and sell it to them. We say, hey, this is exactly what you asked for. And they say, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And then they purchase it. What makes us different is no upfront cash, no upfront inventory. That's huge. All we do is, and really no big investment up front, because for the communities, we literally take Google surveys, which are free, Google Forms, and we go out, we make a form with those same questions I just mentioned. We put them in people's Facebook groups that they've grown to hundreds of thousands of people's in the cooking industry, quilting, motorcycles, bourbon, whatever, and just say, hey, fill out this quick 2-minute survey, and we're giving away an Amazon gift card. And we'll get 100 to 2,000 submissions, and we'll get their emails with that. So we collect free emails. We collect free information. We go and grab that information. We make a design out of it. And then we email the people who submitted, and that starts the money train. And then with those, we scale with ads.
Yeah, that's I like how you laid that out like, oh, this is really simple. And it is. And the irony is that I think so many times in business, people just make it more complex. Or they'll skip one of those steps. They'll be like, yeah, well, I know what kind of shirt they want because this is the shirt I want, right? And so they, you know, you can pick the niche because it's what you love, but picking the product because it's what you love, you may end up with a market of one. And so where along that process of what you guys do, I'm sure you've had some mistakes and setbacks. Like, what was one of the biggest challenges you guys faced, and how did you guys overcome it?
With the t-shirts?
Just in e-commerce or business, yeah. Open question.
That is a very open question. I mean, dude, I know this is like a 28-minute episode, and I probably have 6 hours of content just around that question.
Yeah.
I'll maybe give you two. We'll start with one.
Sounds good.
We sold, so most of you guys know us from the G700 flashlight. We did $30 million in 2.5 months. How's that even possible? How'd you scale like that? I mean, it went viral. It was on the front page of CNN, MSNBC, Yahoo News, with ads. Like, this wasn't like, you know, they were, you know, CNN with Trey. It was people spending money on those front pages, getting high clicks because it was a great clicker. And we had levels of scale is really what this comes down to. We had 15,000 inbound phone calls a day coming in, and I had 4 people to answer those phone calls. So I couldn't handle the volume. So they all went to, which is I was genius. And I set up a voicemail. And so we had 28,000 voicemails that we've never listened to of people not getting their order. And just levels of scale and not being prepared for your business to scale up. And I think that's a good sound principle to ask yourself when starting a business like this. Like, we all want the big numbers. We all want the $100,000 months, the $1 million months, the $10 million companies. But to get there, there is going to be roadblocks. And when you're starting out, you're answering the phones, you're doing the emails, and you're doing all these things. And that's what became our biggest problem was we didn't have level of scale, and it crushed us. Yeah. You know, we did $30 million in 2.5 months. That sounds like, oh gosh, dang, did you go buy, you know, a jet and some Lamborghinis? No, we got our ass sued because we didn't know what we were doing, and Visa and MasterCard came after us, and a company with the flashlight came after us for $2 million lawsuit. Like, we were just, you know, we were running rampant and wild, but we got through it. You know, we got through it. We learned a lot. A mentor of mine told me that, you know, from those 2.5 months, we received a $30 million education, which, you know, we've used now. And the company that I've built now is amazing. It's complete freedom. Like, this is not a green screen. This is, you know, I'm actually, I don't know if you guys have video, but I'm in.
Everyone on video is seeing a gorgeous, cool, actual, real tropical background.
Not a video behind Trey. So I'm to a point, man, where I'm running my entire company off of this right here, this device, this cell phone. You know, I really debated about even bringing my laptop here, but it's so small that it really doesn't weigh that much. So I figured, why not? But I'm almost to a point where I'm able to run a $30 to $50 million business a year off of a cell phone through Telegram. And I'll tell you, if that's something of interest, we can go down that path. But basically, it's to a point where I don't have any employees. Our last one quit 4 weeks ago now.
Oh, wow.
And life has been simpler, faster, more efficient, than it was having them, and less overhead.
Oh yeah.
What I mean by that is no 401ks, no health insurance, no state or federal tax, no W-2s, no unemployment fees, like all the things that come with employees, right? Now I just have freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
And that is working so well that I'm very surprised that as at how well it's working and how we're able to run our business, because I was scared to do it. And that's why we kept that employee. I also have a big heart, so I hate firing people.
Sure.
But really what's happening is these freelancers now are quitting corporate jobs. So they're corporate quality, so A+ quality. They're charging what they're worth, $100, $150 an hour, which seems expensive. However, the caveat is they can do the amount of work that an 8-hour employee is doing in 2 hours.
Right.
So it's a lot less. And second, it's way more better quality than what I'm getting with a $60,000 a year person or employee.
Right.
And I guess what I'm really trying to say is I got a $250,000 a year employee for 30 grand.
Well, and you're able to scale up and down based on the demand and need in the business, right? Which kind of gets back to what you were saying with the flashlight situation, right? When you guys spiked in sales that much, when you're doing low inventory or on-demand ordering or those kind of things, that's great when you're selling 100 units a day. But when you had that many units, you had I'm assuming you were trying to get stuff over, rushed overseas. Like, did they even have a manufactured yet? Like, what kind of logistical challenges did you have to jump through just to attempt to deliver and fulfill those orders?
I wish I said we did it effectively, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So we were trying to do that. We were flying. I wouldn't say we rented a 747, but damn near close. UPS, we were on the phone with them daily, trying to find space for the planes to put flashlights in. To where it's like, do you want a half? They were saying, do you want just half the plane? Do you want 3/4 of the plane? Like, how much of the plane do you need? And so we were giving them like box dimensions and weights to make sure it fit in the plane. Meanwhile, we're also shipping stuff overseas, trying to cut the cost down to be able to afford the CPA payout, which is cost per acquisition.
Yeah.
And those were logistical nightmares where it was Christmas time. So we were selling these in November and December. We were doing $400,000 a day, $500,000 a day into December. And then the irate moms were calling us, telling us that that was the only gift that they got their son that year.
Yep.
And they weren't going to get it until about February.
Yep.
Because we had 70,000 orders in the hole that we owed people for December that we didn't get to them till February or March, just because we lacked efficiency.
Yep.
And how we solved that was a friend of mine worked for AJ Kubani, and AJ is the owner of As Seen on TV. So he was the owner of Billy Mays and OxyClean and all those. He's the guy behind the screen. And I always wondered, like, how does that guy manage the spikes that he receives with television? Putting an ad out, television, like, the call center is going to get 50, 100 calls, but then it goes dead. Like, I was like, dude, how does he manage that? And he goes, he just third parties it out. And he has a lever at his desk that says, hey, we got 100 calls coming in. Someone take it. Hey, we're back to 0. Get off the phones. Hey, we have 100 orders coming in. Ship them out. Lever. Hey, no orders this week. Pull it back. Where I had a big ego, and I had the team. I had employees. I had 24 employees that were at a logistics warehouse, 7,000 square foot warehouse, packing boxes, making boxes, packing, slips and stuff. Had a call center of 50 people, but we were running into the same issues. As one day an affiliate would spike the numbers, the next day he wouldn't. And so I had people sitting around waiting for packages to go out. I had people waiting around for the phone to ring. And that killed us. That killed our overhead and killed our profits like overnight. Yeah. And so I learned now over the last 10 years how to slowly, effectively have no employees, but yet have all the employees that I need through third-party contractors, third-party agencies, people who have businesses and our CEOs and CFOs and CMOs and all the C's you got of their own companies that I'm just plugged into. And I'm like AJ now, where I'm like, hey, we got 1,000 calls a day, manage it.
Yep.
Tomorrow's only 10. Cool. They got to go find the work for those call center guys for the days that were low, and then pull the people over to us when they're high.
Yep. Yeah, that's such a big thing about business today is, if you keep your ego low, there's a lot of those opportunities. You've mentioned CPA payouts and you mentioned affiliates kind of casually. One of the things that I learned about you early on that you do differently is that you leverage affiliate relationships really, really well. And so a lot of people, they'll go out and they'll start organically, then they'll run ads, and they don't really know how to go do the affiliate game. Give us like Trey's affiliate lessons in a nutshell here. Like, how many times has Uncle B saved you?
Uncle B. Uncle B. I don't know if he saved us, but he's made us.
Made you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So you gotta have a lot of uncles out there, a lot of Uncle B's. So basically, Uncle B comes from Russell Brunson, where we were doing Facebook ads of the time of the flashlight, dedicated emails, and then I led into Russell and I said, hey, what's after emails? He goes, oh, Bernardo, call him. And now, of course, he's our uncle. So we call him Uncle B. But we called Uncle B. He said, okay, let's make this a success, which he did. And that's where all the big numbers came from, was basically all of him.
Yeah.
And that led me down the affiliate network road of how there are people out there that's what they do. They are experts. They have teams who run Facebook ads, teams who run CPM campaigns where they're buying ads on Yahoo and AOL and all the front page stuff. And they're just really good at buying advertising. They're just really good at it. They're really good at headlines, clickers, clickbait, and then moving them to a sales page. Where I'm really good at is building a funnel and building an offer. So it's a really good match.
Yep.
So I like that. And so finding them, that's what you got to do next, right? Like, how do you find these guys? Because they're very, very hidden. And so what we do is we go to conferences. We go to ASW, which is Affiliate Summit West, ASE, which is Affiliate Summit East. We have not been to the ones into like Dubai
overseas,
or Berlin or overseas yet. I hear those are really great, which if you can, you should go to those. But get a booth or just go to network and, meet people. And there's, I'd say, maybe like 20% of those people there are e-com affiliates. And we shake hands, we rub elbows, we kiss babies, and we say, hey, at the end of the day, we have offers. We do high payouts, really good conversions. We'd love you to test our offer. And that's the beauty behind it, is they'll test it. And if it works for them, they'll keep it. And then they will use their own money, their own cash flow, their own team to scale your offer.
Yeah.
So where our company is, like, we don't need a lot of cash on hand to do business. Like, I try and go and sell the product first before I go invest in the product and have sitting inventory, which is bad inventory. And frankly, everything's on Amazon, unless you're an inventor, which I don't recommend. Everything's on Amazon now. So what we do is we literally will throw up a product on a sales page. We run Facebook ads to it or have an affiliate push to it. We see if it converts. If it does, great. We go buy those products from Amazon at cost, whatever the cost, ship it to the customer. Sure, it arrives in an Amazon box. They're just happy to get it.
Yep.
There's no receipt anymore in Amazon boxes. If there is, you can select send as gift,
right?
And they don't get a receipt to know. But at the end of the day, you're just testing. And so I'm testing without inventory. I'm testing without cash flow. All I got to do is build a sales page. Once I find that product that lights up, then we go import from China. Start with 500 items, 500 units. Get one or two affiliates on board. Start pushing it. Once it takes off, game over, because all the affiliates know anyways, with all the software out there, they're going to see what offers are spiking. Just have a little thing at the bottom of your website that says become an affiliate. That'll do all the leverage for you.
Yeah. It's so interesting, the affiliate world. And I think I've been to ASW. I got into e-commerce kind of backwards. I started in like direct response with the SEN on TV type stuff, and then learned about the other side of things. And so, but it's fascinating how what you mentioned, how a lot of these affiliates are kind of hidden and hard to find.
Yes.
unless you show up at one of those conventions, and then they're all buying each other drinks and standing out in the open. But then after the convention, it's like they scatter back into the shadows, and you won't get a hold of them until the next convention, unless your offer's taken off, right?
That's right.
But there is something about this digital world about showing up analog and actually being, face to face. I think there's still a lot of value to that. Your stories are always fascinating because they're so similar to other entrepreneurs and my own stories, except for the zeros at the end, right? You just play at a different scale. And so, you and I have both had, merchant account issues and things like that. But, I'll be like, oh yeah, I had this amount held. And you're like, oh, that's cute. That was like our daily reserve. And I'm like, okay, never mind. It's not a big deal. But, and that's good in a way from perspective. I think sometimes we need to understand that the world is bigger than us. You've gotten pretty big, but who do you look up to as people that you're still like, hey, these guys are the guys crushing it, or these are guys I'm learning from? You mentioned a mentor earlier.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to in the industry?
I mean, I look at the Vioris of the world, or the Olos right now, or the Ayla Olos. How do you say their name? The new Lululemons.
Okay.
My wife, she's buying all that stuff. Viori, we bought a lot of. But I remember, I'll tell you why Viori ones, because I just have some numbers on them. I was dealing with this guy that had some data that he was able to capture, and it was off of their Shopify store. And he's like, yeah, just on their Shopify store, they do like 28 million a month. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is fantastic. Just selling shorts and shirts that are made of cotton, which guess what? All shirts and shorts are made of cotton.
Yeah.
Just got a little logo on the left. And so, there's always levels, but there's not faces, like for me, I'm a rarity, which, I'm okay sharing numbers and I'm getting people excited. And, I'm okay because I live in a world of abundance and like, hey, like I'm not going to go capture all that money, even if we're in the same niche, sell the same product, have the same affiliates. Like I'm still going to make enough that I'm going to be just fine. Whereas the Vioris of the world, like the president of that company isn't coming on and being like, we did 28 million this month in Shopify. He's not on podcast.
Well, he's probably not out here teaching other people how to do it either, right?
No, he's not. I don't think he's. If he is, I would love to chat with him because I would love to have a conversation because that's all about what the world is moving to, which is communities and awareness. And if you see anything that's going on right now of how things are moving, it's influencers, not the influencers that like we're used to, like the Ty Lopez, I guess, or Grant Cardone, like, oh, those are guys, or Tony Robbins, like that's an influencer, like that's mega. Whereas it's micro influencers that are pushing brands, and brands are building on top of or under these micro influencers. And all these guys are just like TikTokers, like no names, just people just showing off attire, showing off stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, I want to buy that because it's fun. It's a dopamine release. And the new software like TikTok Shop is making it super simple for people to purchase something through Shopify, by the way. It's a Shopify app on the back. But it's just a one click purchase on TikTok. It's the new QVC of the 20th century.
Oh yeah.
And it's going crazy. 60% of orders on TikTok right now are through TikTok Live. And that's shifting to 80%. All lives. So they aren't buying it from TikTok Shop where you see like, people saying, oh, we'll go buy this. The TikTok Lives is where TikTok is getting the majority of their money. So then the question becomes is how do you get those people to promote their product? How do you get communities to build on top of one another to build your brand on so they're out there repping you and know you as a company versus just see you as a company?
Yeah, the evolution just in the last 12 months of e-commerce has been really wild. And I remember this was probably, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, you wrote a chapter in one of Russell Brunson's books on the title of the book changed after the first printing, but like basically you had to start over again within 30 days. Right. And it was this brilliant, like simple version of how to start from zero, starting a shirt. But I mean, you would probably write a very similar chapter today, but all the tools now are different, right? And all the platforms are different. Yes. And so, I feel like it's actually in some ways gotten easier because the access to those end users and to the niche is like even faster.
I'll tell you this, Tyler. You're naive if you think email and SMS are the way. Because the people on email and SMS right now, yes, can you make money from those? Sure. But the people on those platforms, SMS and email, are aging and they're dying. Okay? I like the Mountain Dew mentality where we get them young. So they go after teenagers and they say, hey, you should love Mountain Dew. You love gaming, get on Mountain Dew. And so then they're connected. They're hooked to Mountain Dew for the rest of their life. They got a 60-year life cycle on that kid versus someone who they're getting at 60 or 50 on an email or SMS and they got them for 20 years. So that's why I'm so honed in and tuned in right now to what apps and what tools we can use to capture the 20-year-old that's looking to purchase products and will be with us for a lifetime. And that's what I'm seeing is TikTok, YouTube Reels, WhatsApp, and Discord.
Wow.
Those four things right there are where the younger generation is jumping onto. Snapchat might be on that list, but the four I mentioned are the biggest ones. And where people are, they're there. They like being there. They enjoy those apps, okay? And they're buying off of those apps. America is the only place that WhatsApp isn't that big yet. All around the world, if someone's like, "Oh, what's your number?" It's a WhatsApp. It's not here's my. No one says here's my cell phone. That's only in America.
Yeah.
UK, what's your WhatsApp? What's your WhatsApp? Yep. And I'll tell you this. This is the kicker. This is what cracks me up about e-com stores right now is they're paying to email people and they're paying to text them. And they're like, oh, we're doing so great. I'm like, bro, I just sent out a WhatsApp message, cost me nothing.
Yeah, it's I think more than ever in the e-commerce space and really industry and commerce as a whole, the landscape is shifting crazy fast. The shift from typewriters to computers didn't happen in 1 year, right? It was a 5-10 year process. The shift from, I remember it was only 2 or 3 years ago where it was SMS. Like everyone's got to start doing this because it was brand new. Mm-hmm. And now we're already like, yeah, that's old. That's already outdated, right? You're already falling behind. Should it be a part of the puzzle? Yes, but it's not where your focus should be, right?
It's a small piece, but I'll tell you why I don't like them. Okay. I don't like email and SMS is because it's so regulated. Like email, I can get sued.
Yeah.
I can get sued on email. I get lawsuits because an affiliate sends out a spam email and then that lawsuit comes to me. I can get sued because someone sends a text out to a number who did not register or double opt in, and it was within a time window outside of the regulations. Or they said they unsubscribed, but they never did. And then you got a Kohl's lawsuit, which is a class action lawsuit. But anyways, none of that's going on in Discord and WhatsApp.
Right.
Okay? I can tell you that right now. So these companies, including myself, are swimming upstream for SMS and email when you have Discord and WhatsApp and TikTok and YouTube Reels. Just here's free traffic. Here's free traffic. Here, you don't even have to have followers. You got a list of 20,000 people on a Discord. I don't care if someone opts out. I don't care if someone leaves your group. Oh, scary. Whereas with an SMS, you get over 1% opt out. What they start asking questions.
Right.
You get 1% unsubscribe rates on your email. You start shifting over to different IPs, and your delivery rate goes down.
Now, you're opening up 1,000 more questions for me, but we're running out of time. I used to like have an e-commerce course. I don't do any of that kind of stuff anymore. Like how can we get people more info? If they want to get into this, they want to start staying involved. Like, how do we learn more from Trey?
That's actually a really good question, man, because you got me thinking like obviously when you said you got me at the 28 minutes when the show started, I was like 20 minutes. I was like, I don't even know how I can teach anybody anything in 28 minutes, but we'll try.
Yeah.
So I'm St. Thomas right now, but I do get back. I do get back Monday. At least that's if flights go well.
Right.
But I don't know how many viewers you got, but I'm sure it's a lot. So what if we did something cool? What if we did something like off air? Well, really like on air, but off air. And because I got some time next week, what if we did something where like we actually took some time? And I can show you guys some really cool stuff of like what we're doing, how we're doing it, how we're making sales. And the number one thing here is recurring. That's the number one thing I'm preaching right now is get something recurring. Meaning someone on subscription where they're paying you every month. They enjoy paying you every month. They love seeing that charge on their card and they're excited about it. You know, like Netflix. Like, hey, Netflix, I don't mind. Like, it's great. I enjoy it, right? The value outweighs the cost. So maybe we could do something like that. I'd have to put some notes together, but I'd be willing to do we could even call it a challenge, like a 4-day challenge or something, where basically, let's call it Monday. Let me make sure here. I'm saying things I'm not even checking.
Yeah, we'll make sure. I'm loving this idea. Yeah, because I'll push this out to all the biz ninjas, all the people, all the listeners, and sadly,
I don't want to dedicate to something and then I mess up.
Right.
So I think so I got some time. So I do have time.
Okay.
Monday, I could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I can't do Friday. I'm flying out. What am I doing on Friday? Doing something on Friday. Can't see it. But see, I'm Eastern now. So I think that's 3:00 Eastern, 2:00 Central. I'm going to put it in here. But let's just do that. It'll be an hour. I'll put an hour here. And we'll do an hour a day for 4 days. Call it a challenge. No cost to you guys. We'll do it for free. And let's have some fun with it. I have no clue what we're going to talk about. But I know it's going to be. I know it's going to be something about e-com, how we're selling physical products, and how we're putting people into recurring. And the goal I always set for people is you want to get 1,000 people, which just sounds like a big number, but it's not. 1,000 people on recurring at $20 a month. And when you do that, that's $20,000 a month. That's $240,000 a year. And why do I say that number? Because I feel that number, the majority of people watching that challenge will be able to quit their job and go do whatever they want to do. You know, if they want to host a podcast like Tyler, if they want to go sit in the kayak in the middle of the ocean by St. Thomas, they can. Or if they want to operate business from their phone, you know, that's the goal. So I'd be more than happy to do that for you, man. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I know this is the second time you've had me on, so I definitely owe you, and I owe your audience a little gift. So
this is huge. It's very, very generous and super grateful because I love the intentionality behind what you're doing with that. With the, you know, if it's why I got into this kind of stuff after reading 4 Hour Work Week and Tim Ferriss, and the idea of creating a muse that freed up your time so that you could do what you really wanted to do in life, right? And that's basically what you just described is like, hey, if you had money handled, what would you do with your life? And maybe it'd be self-actualization. Maybe it'd just be take a nap for once, right? Who knows? You don't know because you've been stressed about it forever. So I'm going to make sure that, well, sadly, I'm going to get this to my email list, right? But then we're going to worry about getting them into Discord and other places next. But we're going to get it out to everyone so that they know about it. And if you're catching this later on after we did this live, that's okay. I'm sure we'll figure out something. So check the links in the show description. I'll have a place for you to go to find out what we ended up doing. But Trey, I'm so grateful for you coming out on the show. I know you're on vacation, so please get back to enjoying life and enjoying the fam. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for us. And to my biz ninjas, wherever you're listening, watching, or tuning in, it's your turn to go out and do something.